Alright guys, I want to share a quick video with you on how to dimension your floor plans. A couple of quick things I'd like to share is first of all dimensions should start from an exterior wall when possible, and then I'll explain that in just a second. The next thing, whenever you dimension, you're going to have three different rows of dimensions. The first one is going to be the location, the center of all doors and all windows. The second row, you should have all interior walls and the center of all interior walls and the outside location of all exterior walls. And then the last row, you're going to have overall dimensions and overall dimensions only. I wanted to show you real quickly what that would look like, so I created some layers here and I'll show you. So the first layer, one thing I'd like to point out is I like to get a good space from my floor plan or from my wall, and I'll show you in just a second, but this is the furthest wall out. So this comes down and it actually, there's another wall down here. This is like an L-shaped house, but so I'm going to use my 3-foot rule from this wall up here, and I know those lines those are really long, but that is that's the proper way of dimensioning. So my first row, like I said, I'm giving the center of all doors and all windows. Now I would go through and I would actually put this whole row in first, and I would just look to see on this wall I've got that window, there's a window, door, window. So I've actually located every wall or every window and every door that we have. So I'm going to move on to row 2 here, and let me turn off row 1 just for a second. Here I'm locating, here's what I mean when I say I'm locating the center of interior walls and the outside of all exterior walls. So this is an exterior wall. I'm locating to the outside of the wall. I don't want to ever come in here and locate to the inside or the center of this wall. I want to give the outside location. Now this is an interior wall. I want to give an center line location of this interior wall. So that's what I've got going on here. Alright, continuing, I'm going to slide over, and this is an exterior wall. On this same row of dimensioning, I'm going to locate the outside of this wall. Again, I wouldn't give the interior or the center location because it's an exterior wall. Moving on, again, an interior wall. I'm going back to the center. I've located that. Center of that wall. Exterior wall, I've given the outside location. So they're all lined up. This one I'd like to point out, I've got it going an additional 2 feet from my first dimension. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to turn off row 2 and I'm going to turn on row 3. The only thing that I should be dimensioning in row 3 is an overall dimension, and that goes from here to here. There's no other offsets in my house. There's no other just stick out rooms. So the farthest I need to go is right here. So, and again, this one I'm pulling out an additional 2 feet. So if you had all of your rows turned on, and I'm going to do that, so row 2, row 1, the way I like it, and you can choose what works best for you, but I'll go 3 foot on my first row to get it away from my house, get my dimensions from my floor plan. Then for my second row, I'm going to go another 2 feet, and then my third row, my overall dimension, I'm going to go an additional 2 feet. Alright, when you have all your rows in place, the problem you're going to notice is you're going to have these overlapping, conflicting areas. And so what you need to ask yourself is, what dimensions do I need? Which ones can I get rid of? Have I got everything located? For instance, this window here is located with this 6'9" from the exterior wall. So this is a good dimension here, locating this window. This dimension is locating this window. But however, this window is also being located from the midpoint of this window over, from the exterior of this wall over. Therefore, this dimension I can actually erase. And see what happens here is it cleans up my conflicting areas here. That there's no dimensions overlapping, and I've still completed the same task. I've got all windows and the wall located. Alright, now that we've got that problem fixed, let's continue to pan over and see if we've got any more issues. Alright, here's another one. See how these overlap? Let me zoom out here and see. So here is my, I have to locate this wall, I have to locate this window, and I have to locate this window. So this window is being located from this wall, this window is being located from this window and from the center of this door. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. I don't actually need that dimension, so that's cleaned up. This is okay because they're all on the same line. Just throwing that out there. Alright, I'm going to keep going, and I've got one more problem here. So they're overlapping. Well, if I delete this, now that looks good, because now I've located the center of this window, I've located this wall, I've got the center of all these located, but the problem is they're located off of each other. Nothing is coming from an exterior wall. So if I pull that all the way over and I connect them back up, we're conflicting again, right? So what I have to do here is I have to make a decision. I'm going to go ahead and pull another dimension from the midpoint of this window to, it's the note here, but it's the center of this wall. I'm going to line it up right here. And that's what I would typically want, is to start from the exterior wall. But in that very specific situation, you don't have another option. This is the best way. This is the best way to do that. So now that we have everything dimensioned, everything's cleaned up, what you want to do is you want to go all the way around and follow these same rules. I would like to point out, so this wall here, you could pull a dimension all the way through here and line it up with your other walls, or you could pull the dimension on this side. I would recommend pulling the dimension over here, and you don't need it on both. So anytime a wall goes all the way through the house, for instance, this wall here comes all the way through, so it would, you only have to locate it once. If it's not going to clutter anything up, go ahead and you can dimension it on both sides of the house just for clarity purposes. But know that you don't have to. Like in this situation here, I would not.